All right, let's do this thing, Nicky.
Let the recording begin.
Gobble, gobble week, feast week, as they call it on ESPN. The only one we're
Right,
feasting was you, Nicky, at 15-3 last week. You were feasting, okay?
right.
Feasting big time. Before
Wait, if
feast week,
I
you were
if
feasting.
I can read this correctly, you
If
we were 29-9 together.
I can read
Repeated
this correctly,
29-9. Okay.
if I'm reading this correctly, hails from Moose Jaw,
Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan.
Gotta love a little drop of the slap shot reference. Okay, let's get going.
All right, so great week. Let's do a quick kind of catch up on the week.
Right,
I like to call this week Flip Christmas, okay?
right,
Because this is when the rubber hits the pavement, and now
right,
when the cash comes out,
right,
who's gonna get paid?
right.
Bryce Underwood. What do you say about him, Nick? Speaking of
So
Flip Christmas,
yeah, it's a big good Christmas at the Underwood household, and I think Belleville, Michigan. It's a suburb of Detroit. So um, he's a five-star quarterback. I guess he's people think he's the number one quarterback in the class. He switched from LSU to Michigan. There is apparently these are the facts as we know them,
it
or
was a back and forth, right? Didn't he go LSU, Michigan, back to LSU, back to Michigan? I think it was a four-way.
you know that better than I do.
Yeah, it was a four-way flip.
Right. So you have he's with Michigan now, or he has it's a seven-figure deal.
Ten and a half
How
million.
deep in the seven figures? It may be an eight-figure deal.
It's 10.5 million. That's what
It
it
involves Larry Ellison, the billionaire from Oracle.
is.
His girlfriend attended Michigan or wife or something like that. And just show how crazy this is, Connor Stallions is involved in this somehow. the
Oh,
the
that
guy
must.
who
I thought
was
he
on the
disappeared.
Central Michigan sidelines wearing sunglasses and a raincoat.
I thought they put him on a boat next to Fredo and pushed out to Lake
Yeah,
Michigan.
yeah.
I thought he was
So
toast.
so this 8 figures is is something, man. This kid's 18 years old.
Yeah,
I mean, wow.
right, man.
God bless him.
Yeah, and he's not the only one. Julian Lewis,
Right,
another kid from Georgia, going to SC. I'm going to SC. I'm going to SC. I'm not going to SC. I'm going to
right,
Prime Time. I'm going to
right,
Colorado,
right,
which he may flip back when Prime leaves to go to the pros. So
right,
this is it's a fluid situation.
right. With a
Um,
capital F.
yeah, signing days coming up. Obviously, we got the transfer portal opening up. Things are going to get real hectic, right? The month of
Right.
December in college football used to be bunch of bowl games and that's that was it. Now it's
It's a
free
free for all.
agency, transfer portal, um, it's cash, it's playoff games. I mean, it's really college football done a good job of making themselves relevant in
Right.
December. All right, tell me about the Heisman update, Nick. What do we got, man?
Okay, quick update. You got I think the event is the 14th of December, so not too far away. Ballots get distributed on the 2nd. Have to be back in by December 9th. Dylan Gabriel was off this weekend. They host Washington this Saturday. Um, Ashton Genty, the running back from Boise State, his usual good game. Hasn't had any bad games all year. The
Yeah.
fewest yards he's run for in a game is 127. He had what did he-
He had
19 rushes,
257.
169 yards, and a touchdown. A low scoring game in Cheyenne or Laramie, Wyoming.
He had 257 against Oregon and four touchdowns, by the way. The
Yeah,
number one team in the country.
yeah, he's a horse.
He's a beast.
But I guess this guy, the next man up is Travis Hunter, and I guess it seems he's going to take this thing. Um,
Not so fast. Okay. I think Dylan Gabriel, if he has a big game this weekend, may have a shot at it.
right.
But yeah, I think it's a two-horse race. I love Cam Ward too from Miami,
Right,
but that defense is just so bad that I don't think he's getting enough love, man. I do love Travis Hunter, and he was really good last
right,
week.
right,
Um, but Colorado, everyone's a hater of Colorado in prime, right? So
right.
that's going to hurt Travis actually. So good update. So the playoffs are starting here. Couple weeks, right? 3 weeks, I think. 3, 4 weeks. We were waiting for the playoff to come on the TV. It's running late, so we looked at some predictions of what people thought it would be. It would be Indiana still in it, playing Tennessee. I think that'd be a really good game in Tennessee. I think there'd be a lot of Indiana fans at that game as well. Georgia playing Boise State at home. That'd be a hell of a game. Bama still alive, I guess, is what I'm seeing, playing Penn State in State College. And then Ohio State getting a home game against BYU. And the top four seeds are Oregon, Texas, Miami, and Boise. No, it can't be
Right.
twice. All right. So let's recap the week, man. What a week it was. Like you said,
Okay, so believe it or not, this is the last week of the regular season. It's gone by very fast. And when we were over the weekend, we were looking around for a good theme this week, and you landed on maybe that we know a little something about a little something,
a little bit. A
and
little bit.
and it worked. That's pretty good because we had in our picks last week there were 38 games, and we hit 29 of them.
Yeah, I
In
mean, here's the thing, it's the 13th week. I mean, we watch a lot of football,
right,
and I watch a lot of highlights, a lot of interviews. I watch a lot to prepare for the
right,
show. And this is
right,
why, by the way, I'm wearing Indiana today because not in mourning of them, but out of respect for Zignetti and what he's done there with a team with like two-star recruits and a bunch of one-star recruits and a bunch of no-star recruits. And the guy's 10-1 and they're going to throttle Purdue this week and go 11-1. And they deserve to be in the playoffs for the simple fact that they don't get to pick their conference schedule. Their
right,
conference schedule is picked by the conference. So
right,
sometimes it's really hard, sometimes it isn't. You play the games you're dealt. The team was picked to go be in the back end of the Big Ten, and the
right.
guy's going to be in second place in the Big Ten or third place in the Big Ten. Nothing to sneeze at, or we tied for third with Penn State. So nothing to sneeze at. They didn't. I
No,
usually
he,
like to
he
play.
couldn't have done a better job.
Yeah, and then Notre Dame obviously
Right,
pumping on Army this weekend.
right.
And Oregon's the last team standing. Billy Napier, Nick, just keeps rolling in Florida. I think they got a quarterback, man. That DJ Langway's pretty good. I mean,
Yeah, he's got a freshman quarterback, and they're just rolling right along, you know?
yeah, I think he finally figured it out. Um,
Right,
I hate to say it because I'm not a big Gator fan, but I think that's a good team going forward here. Next year is going to be interesting for them when they have to go into Miami and play down there in the rematch game from this year's beatdown. I think it'll be a
right.
good story.
But that ties into like what you were saying. It's going to be the Wild West in a couple of weeks. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
anything, that you don't know, we don't know what these teams are going to look like in August, but it's going to
You,
be fun finding out.
you're right. You're right. You don't know, but DJ Lang was going to be there. I mean, and maybe he goes in the portal to see what his worth is. You know,
Right,
I don't know, but he's picked it up. I'm glad to see it. I mean, Indiana. They got waxed, man. We called it. Me and you both said they're going to get waxed, and and they did. I mean, Ohio State's a better team. Ohio State's loaded with 4 and 5 star recruits, and people are like, "Oh," I'm like, it's all about the players. If you have a good coach and you got players, then you got Nick Saban, right?
right,
So the thing of it is when you have good players, that's a huge advantage over most teams. And Ohio State flexed their muscles on Saturday. I
right.
mean, that was you could tell as men and boys there. So Indiana deserves to be in the playoffs as far as I'm concerned.
I agree.
After they beat Purdue badly this week, I mean, he's going to hang 60 on Purdue and not give a shit. He is going to be like,
Right.
okay, you don't think we're worthy? boom, boom, boom. He's going to thump them.
right.
All right. What happened with Mac Brown, Nick?
So I guess they went up to Boston College on Saturday, and they didn't look good at all. And I guess yesterday he had does his Monday early afternoon press conference and said that he was planning to come back next year, 2025. And I guess the university said, no, no, we're not doing that. So he was let go today. And I guess UNC is going to look around for a new coach. I was trying, I said, Is that a good job?" He's the only person who's ever really won there in the last 30
I
years.
mean, I think it's a good job because Carolina is a good school, but it's all about money now.
Right,
That's what makes a good job. Is SMU a good job? A year ago, 2 years ago, I said no way. But in today's world,
right,
where cash is king and SMU's got all that oil money, SMU's a
right,
great job, right? I
right.
mean, that's how I'm equating it. So Carolina's got rich alums, but most of them put their money into the basketball program, not the football program. So if they transfer some of that money around, yeah, I think it's a good job. I mean, because you can recruit Carolina, you can recruit South Carolina, you can recruit Georgia.
That's a good, so that's a good point. It's not like it was even 3 years ago. Now it's
No,
all how much money this is involved.
it is, man. I'm
Yeah,
sorry to say. That's what
right,
makes a good job.
right,
The AAC, which is the weakest of all the Power Four conferences or Power Five conferences, they fire six of their 14 coaches. I guess they want to win,
right,
huh? I mean, come on,
right,
man. Give some of these guys a chance because your team's terrible. You don't have any
right,
players.
right,
If you're a 500 team, why you fire your coach? You think someone's going to show up and be a miracle worker? It's a signetic factor, by the way. He's going to cost people some jobs.
right,
They're like, look what he did in Indiana.
right,
Yeah, I know.
right.
I know. I know. All right, what's going on at Kansas?
So Lance Leopold, they they have a lot of losses this year, but not a lot of big losses. Like they're always hanging in there. He's a good coach.
Yeah,
Um, he's and he so they've had back-to-back wins over BYU, Colorado, and Iowa State. Boom, boom, boom.
and they were
So they
all fighting for the conference championship
right,
time, right?
right.
Yeah.
So he's done really well. I guess it's his call, I guess, on whether he wants to be back next year. But
Is he
that's
old? Is he a
he's
young
done a
or an
great
old guy?
job down there.
Is he an old or a young guy?
He's older than we are.
Oh, he's in his 60s.
Yeah,
Oh God, well, that's too bad. I thought he was younger because he's a good coach.
yeah,
There's no doubt. I mean, he's got his team up the planks and winning football right now.
right.
Um, all right, how about Arizona State? I mean, I'll talk about
Well,
them a little bit. I know they were down, and then they got on a roll, man, and just started beating everybody. And now they're playing for the conference championship. I think they got to beat Arizona to get into the title game. I think that's it, right? If they win, they're in.
I think so.
Yeah.
But that's a crazy deal out there. They got this guy, Scatterboo, the running back from
Yeah.
Sacramento State. I think he's a transfer, and he runs kind of like a different style. Like he just like gets the ball and takes off. There's no like darting or crouch down or
Ah, that's great.
He's a horse though, man.
Um, so I mean, Pitt, I think they just ran out of gas, but
Yeah,
they were fun when they were 7-0, but they've lost four straight. Now they're just
right,
fighting for a bowl.
right,
I need to talk about Alabama losing in Norman to Boomer Sooner. And
right.
this is
Discuss.
why I tell you, man, that Oklahoma had dudes, and you were like, well, Venables is trying to put it back together. He's rebuilding. I said, no, man, they got players. So when you have players, every now and then they show up,
Right,
like at Auburn, like at Oklahoma. Both those teams are loaded. I mean, I look at recruiting classes, man. You look at the past five recruiting classes, that's what you have as a team, right?
right,
And the five class recruiting classes for Auburn and Oklahoma are loaded. All right, their coaches may have underperformed. But every now and then those guys show up and they put a 24-3 beat down on Bama.
Right,
I'm floored by that game. That game really, I was like, wow, holy crap. That's a bad L for Bama and for
right.
DeBoer, unfortunately. And at A&M losing at Auburn, I mean, at least they were in the fight 4 overtimes. I mean,
Yeah.
that was just last man standing there. So
Do you what do you think? What do you like think about this tiebreaker rule? We alternate 2-point conversions.
I don't know. I like the NFL rule better.
Yeah,
Not when you score, you're done. I don't like that part of it, but
right,
I like it on the field, man. Starting at the 25-yard line, I'm not a big fan of that. But
right.
and then it goes to 2 points after two tries, right after two,
Yeah,
and then it just stays 2 points till it's over, I guess.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that, but that's fine, man. It gets the game's over. I mean, that game went
right,
4 overtimes.
right,
Um, LSU wins, beats Vandy at home, which they should.
right,
Barely beat them by 7, didn't cover.
right,
And so you asked about Kelly being on the hot seat. I don't think he is, man, because
right,
it's a big payoff. But I think if he took another job, they wouldn't be upset about it. Let's just say
right,
that.
right.
I think that would be the case. And I think USC looked pretty good on Brian Kelly. When you think out in LA,
I think so. Yeah, yeah. I think he did.
that opens up.
Yeah,
So, all right, you ready to go over the games?
yeah,
So you were 15-3 last week. Phenomenal. I was 14-6. A great week. One of my best
yeah,
weeks I've had all year.
yeah.
121 and 109, way above the Mendoza line now, Nick.
Finally,
And I'm 139 and 114. So
nothing with you. So you're 25 games over 500. That's
over
great.
500. Yeah, man. All right, so let's go. We both like UT San Antonio. They
Yeah,
killed. That was a 7 point game going to the fourth quarter, and then they opened it up. Both like Iowa. It was our lock of the week this week.
yeah,
They covered and won.
yeah,
We both like Florida get 9.5 at home. We thought that was a big line.
right.
They just went out and beat Ole Miss on the
Yeah,
money line.
they shut Lane Kiffin up.
Wow. Lane Kiffin fraud.
Right.
We both like Illinois a 2 point spread at Rutgers. We thought that was really low. They covered.
Yeah, that was a miracle, though.
Yeah, both liked Ohio State. They won, covered, and now I'm 12-1 for the game of the week. Did you
That's
see that?
great.
12-1.
That's fantastic. Well done. All
That's
right.
been pretty solid. Both liked SMU. Thought they would win big because they're playing for the ACC championship. They won. I mean, so now we're on a string of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Um, I liked Appy. You liked the under. Appy beat JMU.
That was a great pick by you.
Yeah,
Well done.
yeah, at Appy. We both like the under in Colorado K-State. 37-21, 58 points. The over-under was 59.5. We
Just
both
made
got
it.
that one.
Yeah.
We both like ASU against BYU. One loss BYU team. ASU at home. We said, yeah, we're going to take them. They go out and just win the game 28-23. We both love Mini. Thought that was a lot of points of Mini at home. They're tough at home. So we've won every game so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 in a row to start the week. That's a roll, right?
Right.
All right, next game. Pitt, Louisville. You, I took Pitt, took my L. You took the under, hit that.
Right.
37 to 9. Louisville beat them. We both loved Army. We thought a lot of points. Notre Dame thumped them. Notre Dame's pretty legit, I think. The rumor is, by the way, that Freeman's going to go to the Bears at the end of the year. That would
Wow.
that would
Yeah.
hurt Notre Dame. The Pac-12 championship game in Corvallis. I loved Oregon State. You like Wazoo.
Great
Oregon State
pick.
with a big dub there at
Right.
home. A&M Auburn. We both loved A&M. We thought 2.5 points. A&M's going to kill them. Auburn's got nothing.
Right.
Auburn's got dudes, is what they got. and those
Right.
dudes showed up, and I mean, it was a four overtime game once again, but they played really well. I mean, defensively they're terrible, but offense they
Yeah,
scored.
this game killed me, man. It killed my parlay and
Yeah,
it killed me. I didn't even have the strength to watch USC.
and that was our second lock of the week too.
Yeah.
We doubled down for two locks.
Yeah.
Um, I love Bama. You love the under. You hit on the under. I lost on Bama. Um, I double bet this next game, Utah and the over. You took Utah. Um, and Iowa State won 31-28. Didn't cover, so you hit on Utah. I hit the over,
Good
and I
job.
hit on Utah.
Right.
Both love. I love Vandy. You love the under. 24-17. They lost, but they were an 8-point underdog, so that covered. And then USC UCLA. You like the under, which hit, and I took UCLA, which they lost by 6. So,
Right.
um, so the lock is 6 and 8 now.
Yeah. Not good.
No, not good. All right, we're ready to go for this week's picks.
Yeah, I think so. I think let's keep it rolling, man.
Let's do it, man. All right, Memphis, 14-point underdogs at Tulane. Tulane's been really good this year. Still has an outside shot at the playoffs too.
Right.
What do you say, Nick?
Um, John Summerall is a tough coach at Tulane, but I'm going to take Memphis to keep it within 2 touchdowns.
I am not.
Okay.
I think Tulane is playing for a playoff. I don't like that 14-point number. I wish it was 13 and a half. Or if it was 14 and a half, I think I'd like Memphis. But I'm gonna take Tulane there. I think they're tough, man. They just score. I mean, they
Right.
can put some points on the board, man. Oklahoma State, 16 and a half point underdog versus Colorado. 64 and a half is the over under. I'm going to take the under. I think Colorado beats them, but what Colorado team shows up, I don't know. The one that's looking for clicks or the one that's trying to get some W's, you know?
Right.
So I'm going to play the under. Their 64 and a half is a lot of points that I don't think they score that many. What do you say?
So this is like this Okie State team is like what you were saying about they have dudes on that team. I mean, Ollie Gordon is a big back.
He's a pro.
Gundy's a good coach,
Yeah.
but we knew something was up when he said, team, there will be no more discussion of benefits or payouts until the season is over
During the season, right. And that's when
during the
the team went
season.
south, by the way.
What?
And that's when the team went sideways on them.
Yeah. And everybody apparently felt like they were being ripped off and it didn't go over well. I mean, they've had a terrible season. Um, Colorado's at home. I'm going to go with the under two.
Okay. All right, Minnesota getting to at Wisconsin. Whiskey, I think, is playing to be bowl eligible here, right? Aren't they 5 and 6?
Right.
So I'm gonna take Wisconsin at home, man. Laying 2 points. I think this is a low scoring affair, and I think that Wisconsin ekes them out. I think Minnie is stung by that loss last week to Penn State.
Okay. I just looked it up. The temperature, the high on Saturday is going to be 21 degrees. The low is going to be 14, sunny.
Sunny and 14. Wow.
And the game's at noon. There's no way in hell this game gets to 43 points. This is
Under?
going to be a bone on bone game.
Yeah, okay. So you're taking the under.
Yeah.
That's a good call. Oregon State getting 19 and a half at Boise State. They just won last week. Oregon State won the
Right.
Pac-12 championship,
Right.
beat Wazoo.
Right.
19 and a half is a lot of points. I know Boise has a lot to play for.
Right.
I'm going to take Oregon State and then 19 and a half there.
I'll join you on that one, Fernando.
Okay. These are all Friday games. Georgia
Right.
Tech.
Sorry. So let me update that. Yeah. Friday, the same weather for Friday and Saturday in Wisconsin, in Madison.
Yeah.
22 high, 14 low.
Ooh. Georgia Tech getting 19 and a half at in Athens. What do you say?
I'll take Georgia Tech getting 19 and a half.
So will I.
I don't see what's going to make Georgia put their
Georgia
foot on
plays
their
to the
throat.
level of their competition, man.
Right,
So this competition is decent. I mean, Georgia Tech's a pretty good team. They beat
right.
Miami. They're a pretty good team. Interstate rivalry. These games, I think, are always tight unless someone just gets blown out because the team's so much better. But I don't think in this case the team is so much better. So I'm going to take Tech in the 19 and a half. That's a lot of points. This is a great game here. USC, South Carolina versus Clemson getting 2 points in Death Valley. What do you say?
I've seen Clemson a lot this year. I saw them against Pitt 2 weeks ago. I watched that game closely. I like South Carolina every which way here, and I'm a big Clemson booster.
So do I. I got South Carolina here as well. I just think that they got an outside chance to make the playoff here. They win here. It's a huge win, and a couple things go wrong. I think they might be able to get in as the 12th seed in the playoffs, man. And deserving, by the way. I'm not a
Right.
fan of theirs. I cannot stand cannot stand Shane Beamer, but
Yeah.
they've beaten some big dogs this year.
Right.
They played some good teams and they should have beat Bama. They gave that game away
Right.
in Tuscaloosa. Kansas getting one, no respect for Kansas. 3 straight wins. They're still underdogs at Baylor. I'm gonna
I'll
take
take the
Kansas.
under there.
You gonna take Denver? I'm gonna take Kansas. I
Okay.
think they keep rolling. You know that Baylor, give me a break. I think they beat them. Michigan getting 20, the game of the century. Michigan getting 20 and a half at in Columbus, man. The disrespect for the national champs is unbelievable. I mean, they're not the team they were last year, obviously,
Right.
but they're not a bunch of slouches either. They got dudes, all right. They still
Right.
got players. I'm going to take Michigan there and 20 and a half. This game is inevitably always close. Always.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with the under.
Under 44 and a half?
Yeah.
You're on an under roll here today, Nicky. All right, Tennessee, 10 and a half point favorites at Vandy. This is a road trip
Wait a
game.
minute. Let me back up. I'm sorry. This thing with Ohio State, man, that you're right. That's a low number, 44 and a half.
You want to take the over?
Yeah, I'll take the over.
Okay. Road trip, a game of the week is in Nashville. Tennessee, 10 and a half point favorites at Vandy. Nick, have you been to Nashville?
I've been to Nashville twice. I
And
enjoyed it.
good time?
Yeah.
I've heard a lot. I have never been, but I've heard great things. I heard Vanderbilt's an easy game to get a ticket to. I mean, this is the interstate rivalry game. This would be a fun time if you were in in Nashville. This would be a fun game to go see and to be in there for the weekend, right? So they play this weekend at home at Vanderbilt. Who do you? I like Vanderbilt here and 10 and a half. They're a good team, man. They're going to play
Yeah.
Tennessee tough. They're not going to
Yeah.
get
I
down.
like Vanderbilt too.
Yeah, I mean 10 and a half. Are you kidding me? All right. California, 13 and a half point underdogs at SMU in Dallas. What do you
This
say?
is a tough spot. As you always say, you have to consider the travel here.
Yeah,
It's Thanksgiving weekend. They want to be with their families. They do not want to be in Dallas playing the Pony Express. Um, I'm, I like, I like, I like SMU there. No, I like the under. I'll take the under.
The under there?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think about the game?
I'm going to double bet this game, Nick. One of my
All
double
right.
bet specials. I'm going to take the over and I'm going to take SMU. I think California can score. I don't think they'll score at the rapid pace that SMU is going to score on them. But I think this game could be 54 to 38, you
All
know,
right.
56 to 41. I think it's going to blow over the number, I think. And I like SMU there to cover. I think they got a lot they're playing for, and California does not. So I always think when that's the case, typically the team with more to play for is showing up, and they're at home, and it's a holiday weekend, and there's long travel. I mean, all those other things you said do factor into me taking SMU there.
Yeah, they don't want to, Cal doesn't want to be there.
Right. I don't blame him.
Right.
All right, the traditional Notre Dame USC game. Notre Dame
During the day, I'm not a fan.
7.5 point favorites. Notre Dame at in the Coliseum in LA.
I'm not overthinking this. I'm going with the Fighting Irish.
Are you?
Yeah.
I am not. I'm gonna take
Uh,
USC here. I
Okay.
think they show up to get bowl eligible. They're 5-6. I think they play them tough. I think Notre Dame squeaks it out in one of those great games, but I think USC keeps it close.
You know what?
What?
You sold me, man. I like the way you think.
You're back
I'll
on?
take the Trojans as well.
Yeah, I really do, man. I think Notre Dame, once again, they're traveling across the country. Once again,
Right.
it's a holiday for them, even though Notre Dame fans travel and all that stuff.
Right.
I just got a feeling about this one that USC is going to play them tough. Um, Auburn, 11.5 point underdogs in Tuscaloosa. Nick, 11.5 points, a disrespect for Auburn. I'm going to take Auburn in the points. I don't think Auburn beats them, but I don't think Alabama's killing anybody. So I think Auburn keeps it close and loses, but I think they're going to keep it within 11.5. That's a lot of points.
That is a bucket of points.
Yep. 52.5 is the over under.
Boy, it's hard to put money with Hugh Freeze. I mean, it's hard.
I know he's so inconsistent, but then they
Oh,
show up last week and play like it looks like Peyton Thorne is starting to play too. Their quarterback's finally
yeah.
figured it out. I think Auburn's defense, I mean Alabama's defense is suspect, man. That you can get it on them. And did you hear Ryan Williams, the Alabama, wide receiver, the star freshman receivers going into the portal at the end of the year? He already
Oh,
announced that he's going in the portal. What a
all
joke.
right.
Yeah. Wants
Um,
to get paid, Nick.
I'll no, hey, more power to him. Um, he's so young, he might run into child labor laws with the NIL.
Ah.
Um, yeah, okay, I can see Auburn. I'll take Auburn, but I'm gonna hate myself on Saturday night. Mhm. Betting
Maryland,
on Hugh, betting with Hugh Freeze is just bad every which way.
Maryland getting 24.5 versus Penn State. Line's probably too light, actually. I'm going to take the under there, 50.5. I think Penn State beats Maryland 38 to 3, 45
Oh,
to 6.
all right. I'm
It's
gonna
going to be
join you
a
there.
beat down, man. I mean,
Right.
Franklin, are you going to take the under or Penn State?
I'm gonna take the under.
Okay. And the weather's supposed to be horrific this weekend in State College. Of course it is.
Of
State
course
College,
it is.
worst weather in America.
Right.
All right. Miami, 10.5 point favorites at the Cuse. 67.5, the over under. I guess they're expecting a high scoring affair.
I'd take the under here.
You're taking the under?
Yeah.
And I'm going to take Miami. I think they cover that number. I think they come out and destroy Syracuse. I think it's not even going to be close.
I was thinking about going to that game.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Florida, 15-point favorites in Tallahassee. Damn. Talk about the disrespect.
Right.
I'm gonna take FSU here, Nick. I think they get off the mat and play a good one here. Not only they could beat Florida, but I think they play a good one.
Yeah, they're not going to play a good one. I mean, that's not happening.
You like UF here? You're done with
No, but 15 points is too many. I'll take the Seminoles.
all right. I agree, man. That's the disrespect, right? I'm like,
Right.
damn. All right, Purdue 29.5 point underdogs in Bloomington versus Indiana. I'm gonna take Indiana here. I think they throttle Purdue. If they don't, I'd be shocked.
But 29 and a half is too many for me. I'll take Purdue.
Okay. Oklahoma getting 6 in Baton Rouge. This game is just a stinker all the way around. Which Oklahoma shows up? Good Oklahoma or
Or
bad
battle.
Oklahoma? What do you think?
I'll
6 points.
I'll take the Fighting Tigers.
So will I. I will also take LSU. I think they beat up on weak competition. Oh
Yeah.
wait,
Oklahoma, they're just giddy. They don't want to play this game. They just want to celebrate the Alabama win. I don't blame them.
yeah. K-State getting 3 points at Iowa State. Iowa State still playing for something. K-State, I don't think. I think they're done in terms of winning the conference. I'm gonna take Iowa State here to win. 3 points
I'm
is
gonna
not a
go
lot.
with this being a very cold game and take the under 51 and a half.
Okay. UW, Washington, 19.5 point underdogs in Eugene. That is once again the disrespect for Washington. They were in the national championship
Yeah.
game last week.
Again, yeah, same thing for me. That's just too many. I'll take the Huskies
So
plus
will I.
19 and a half.
So will I. Because I don't think Oregon's really done much
Right.
recently.
And where's the incentive for Oregon?
Yeah, they're in
You know,
regardless
okay,
and
win the
have
game,
yeah.
check, get Gabriel a few touchdowns, check, and then they're good. Go
Yep.
home and eat turkey.
Yep. Texas, 6 point favorite at A&M. Talk about the disrespect. And this is our vaunted game of the week. Two highest rated teams playing each other. I'm gonna take A&M here in the 6 points at home. I think they could win the game actually. I think Texas is soft and A&M has to win to get in the SEC championship. They win, I think they're in against Georgia.
The question is, how healthy is A&M? They got a lot of guys banged up,
Yeah,
but
that's
nothing's gonna motivate them to get out of the sick bay more than the sight of the Texas Longhorn. So
right.
yeah, I'll take the Aggies as well.
Horns down, Nick.
Horns
Horns
down,
down.
baby.
A&M, nice. All right, hang on, hang on. All right, last game, and I always like to put a Sun Belt conference game in there because it's the Sun Belt. They play some good football there. Two
You
teams
bet.
fighting for the conference title. Marshall's in first place. I think JMU's like second or third place.
Uh,
Marshall 3 point favorites in in Harrisonburg. 52 and a half is the over under. I'm gonna take JMU at home, man, to beat the
I will join you.
they play so much better at home they do on the road.
Right.
All right. Those are our picks, man.
Okay, let
A
me get the
solid
lock of the
slate
weekend.
of 20 games.
The final lock of the regular season.
Yes.
Has not been a good year.
Lock it
This
up.
is this is going to be a good pick. So, as you said with Oklahoma, you have good Oklahoma and bad Oklahoma. And as we know, there is good South Carolina and bad South Carolina. See, some of the games earlier this year.
Yep.
However, there is no way that bad South Carolina is getting on the bus to go to Clemson. So book it, lock of the week, Gamecocks.
Wow. Wow.
And
It's a strong
I
pick.
like Dabo Sweeney and I like Clemson, but
You do love some Dabo. You
right.
do love you've been talking about him all year.
Right,
All right. They're getting 2 points. It's almost a money line pick at this point, though, with 2 points.
right.
All right. All right. So let's talk about our RIP, Nick. Who do we got this week?
All right. It's a basketball player this week, and it's the former All-Star forward for the Chicago Bulls, Bob Butterbean Love. He was born in Louisiana in 1942, and he died last week in Chicago, Illinois. I learned of Bob Love. I remember where I was. It was 1991, and I was talking with somebody who really knew pro basketball. And I'm sure this has happened to you where somebody whose opinion you respect and they're giving you their opinion on something, and you can tell how a certain reverence they had. And
Yeah.
he said, Bob Love was a ball player. I don't care about stats. I don't care about how
Right.
long he played. He was a tremendous player. And he was this team's a little before my time, but the Bulls existed before Michael Jordan joined in 1984. They were an
Yes, they did.
expansion team in 1966, and people didn't think pro basketball in Chicago was going to make it because it's sort of a hockey town at that time. They had a core group of players. Um, Bob Love, Jerry Sloan, before he was the coach with the Utah Jazz, Stormin Norman Van Leer, Chet Walker, Tom Bowinkle. Coach was Dick Motta, who won a championship with the Washington Bullets in 1978. They played in Chicago Stadium, not the posh United Center that opened in 1995 or 1994. So, but all that sort of takes a back seat because Bob Love showed what he was about when he retired. He had finished up with the Supersonics and started to work in Seattle.
Did he win a
Here's the
championship
thing.
with them?
What?
Was he on their
He did
championship
not
team?
win a championship
Okay.
with the Supersonics. He had a terrible speech impediment to the point where he was almost mute, couldn't really communicate with people. And one of the Nordstroms, I believe, the family, I mean, one of not the founders of a company, but one of the heirs to the Nordstrom store said, "We can't have this. We can't have a guy with he working here in the restaurant. We need to get you some help." So they enrolled in speech therapy, and it worked in a big way. And it ended up his jersey was retired by the Bills. He worked in community relations for the Bills for decades, which is going around to schools, churches, and beating
Speaking,
beating the
speaking
bushes for interest
engagement.
in the Bulls.
Yeah, speaking engagements. Right.
And he ran for office as an alderman in Chicago. And this was a guy who, when he was 35, really couldn't speak. And his jersey was retired, and he was a top player and a top individual. And we wish his family what's the word? Peace in the holiday season.
Yep.
And we're appreciative of that he walked the earth with us
Nice.
for many years.
Very nice. All right, people, watch a lot of football this week, and it's
All
going to
right,
be epic. There are some great, great games.
right.
I mean, it's great, great games. I mean, I have an open invitation to go to Penn State for the Maryland game that I'm not going. Just I can't.
Yeah,
Can't.
the weather's just too much.
And I can't I can't watch that beat down again.
Right.
I just can't. I can't. I don't have it this year in me. Sorry. Sorry, Jen Harding. Thanks for inviting me. All right, man. Great, great
Okay,
show, Nick.
sir.
Happy
All right, let's
Thanksgiving
hope
to
we do
you
as
and
well
your
this week
family.
as we did last week.
Take care of your family, Nick, this week.
Okay.
All right.
You too, sir. Take care.
See you. Bye-bye.
All right, brother.